This time last week, I was in a completely unfamiliar country with just a friend. The objective was to explore some uncharted territory, untouched by tourism, and I trekked over 4 cities in 4 days with my friend. So this duo exploring experience, it was quite new, and to be honest, the concept was quite unsettling, especially if you've never been away to a country before. But this form of duo traveling to somewhere completely new that I'd never seen before, it kind of evoked something within me. It called my spirit. I wanted to go out and conquer. In fact, on the trip, I managed to see the statue of Alexander the Great, the conqueror who I was named after, quite ironically enough. And the experience was surreal. I mean, you get benefits like cheaper food, cheap forms of transport, low budget style of living, but the most important takeaway from the trip is that there was something inside my soul that needed to be nourished and fed. It was a sense of adventure. It's part of my purpose to say go and conquer a new land metaphorically. So this is what the trip allowed me to do. We visited various lovely locations. Skopje in North Macedonia was a real treat. We did a lot of walking. We went up a mountain 1,000 meters up and got some great views, and I stayed off my phone for a lot of it. This is very important as you want to be present in these beautiful fields and environments. It was 10 degrees colder up this mountain, and feeling the breeze was refreshing of some sort. So what I learned from the trip was the fun is in not knowing. Albania and Kosovo were completely unrun by tourists. There were none there. The people spoke little English, and it forced you to adapt. We also had no mobile data service, so I had to stop buying cafes to make do. But it's somewhat humbling, really, being able to talk to these people on their level, you know? They don't speak much English. It forced us to get our priorities straight. There's no faffing around when the time comes to get a bus. There were times where we just went off our phones. My friend in particular, he was on his phone often, but sometimes there was just no way to connect. We sometimes used the base layer of Google Maps as a reference, but nowhere to search up. It forced us to adapt, and it forced us to use our other instincts and actually use our brains to get around. But what really undermined this trip was the struggle of going from place to place, especially overnight. We got up many times before 5 AM to conquer the day, and you didn't have a lot of time to work with. One time we took an overnight bus, 6.5 hours, pretty cramped conditions, not much legroom, and not much sleep. We were up at 3:30 AM in a cafe. It was tough. We wanted to sleep, but we had nowhere to go. A stark contrast to the comfortable first night we had, but the last few days were sleepless, and we were on our feet the whole time. There was hardly time for comfort, but comfort is the killer of man. After all, we were in unknown territory, and on part of our trip to Skopje, we ascended castle walls. We met the first foreigners of the whole trip after 2 days. But it was in a wholesome way. They were also explorers like us. We saw them atop the walls, and we climbed and gazed over the city. We saw the giant hill we had been up the day before, and the feeling was euphoric. If I could do this trip again, I certainly do it, but in a different place. Because going back to the same place twice just doesn't appeal so much, as there's nothing new to learn, except for the things you missed out on. But this trip was the first of many, I am assured. Who knows, I might do it with the same friend, I might do it solo, but whatever it is, I hope the trip teaches me something. I hope it exposes me to a new land, a new culture. Not exactly live there, but just traverse it. Essentially, it's like the free trial of traveling, because adventure is what calls me. Adventure is what I want to do in my 20s. I need to experience whitewater rafting. I need to experience skydiving. I need to experience scuba diving. There's much more I need to do, and the world awaits me. And it excites me so much what there is in store for me. I've barely seen the world, and right now I'm just documenting the journey as it goes. I'm excited to see what life has in store for me. I'll see you next time.